Let's begin by logging into the admin area by clicking the login link at the top of the page. Enter in your email and password and click sign in. When you log in for the first time, you will arrive at this screen informing you that you do not have any upcoming minions. So let's create some now. As you can see, it already has tomorrow's date set as the default. This is because Minion Maker always tries to pick what it thinks is the next available minion time. It does this based off of your default minion times located on the settings page. Let's customize those for your shul because it'll speed up the process of adding minions. We can reach the settings screen by clicking on the settings tab at the top. If you scroll down to the default minion times, you will notice that the evening minion is turned off by default. If your shul does have an evening minion, you can turn that on now by clicking the toggle button. Right now, our Mincha meeting starts at 4:45 p.m. So I'll update that now by adjusting the slider for minutes and hours and then clicking done. With that set, let's return to the previous screen by clicking either the home button or back to roster. As you can see now, by default, it has today's date with 4:45 p.m. for the minion time. Of course, we can always select a different date and time if needed by clicking on the date field, which brings up the date picker. Since our next minion is today at 4:45, I'll keep this time and date and select done and then add. As you can see, it takes us back to the roster screen. Let's quickly add a few more minion by clicking the add button and then add again. Each time we do this, it's adding a minion based off of the default minion time set previously on the settings screen. We can view or select all the upcoming minions we have created by clicking the date drop-down menu and select that minion. You can also view them by clicking the Manage Minion button on the bottom toolbar. From here, we can edit any of the minions or we can delete them. For this demo, we already have names on the roster, but if you do not, follow the instructions to add members to your roster. To add a new member to your roster, begin by clicking the blue Edit Roster button on the bottom toolbar. Then click the green Add New Member button and fill out the fields for the first and last names and the optional phone number fields for calling and texting. And click the Add New Member button. Add as many roster members as you would like or that your plan allows, and then return to the roster by clicking the Home button at the top. Now that we have some roster members and some minions scheduled, let's try to make a minion. Let's begin with the next upcoming minion. If it's not already selected, select the minion from the Time Date drop-down menu. As you can see on the roster, we have the option of calling members directly or sending them a text notification. Clicking the call button from a cell phone will dial that member's phone number. Clicking the text button will send an individualized text message to that member informing them that you need their help making a minion on this specific date and time. That member can then click the link in the message, which brings them to this specific minion, and they can update their status by clicking the Update Status button and selecting their intention. For this example, let's say he is on his way. As you can see, the row lights up and there's an indicator showing that this member plans to attend. If they were already in attendance or they were marking themselves that they were there, it'll show up as green. The other options are sorry not available, available if needed, I'll be there, on my way, and of course the tzaddik is here. It should be noted that anyone can update any member's status as well. So if you know that someone is already committed to attending, you can make the update yourself. This comes in handy with the members that are, let's say, technically challenged. You can also send messages to the entire roster at one time by clicking the Text Roster button down on the bottom toolbar. If you have a large roster where you do not expect most of the people to come to Daily Minyan, you can set up subgroups with subsets of your roster. Let's create one now so you can see how this works. Begin by clicking the blue Manage Subgroups button on the bottom toolbar. As you can see, I've already created a couple subgroups, but let's create a new one by clicking the green Add New Subgroups button and giving the subgroups a name. I'm going to use Wednesday Locks and Learn and click the blue Create button. It automatically takes us to the edit screen for this subgroup where you can add roster members to the subgroup. I'm going to add the members who typically come on Wednesday mornings by clicking that subgroup toggle button next to their names. When done, I'll click Back to Roster. When done, I will click Back to the Roster. If you need to add or remove names, you can return to the screen by clicking Manage Subgroups, and then the Edit button next to their name. But our subgroup is all set, so I'll return back to the roster. Now to view just this subgroup, click the green Subgroup button on the bottom toolbar, and then select the subgroup you want from the pop-up menu. As you can see, now we're viewing just this subset from the roster. We have the option to edit the subgroup by clicking the Edit button at the top. You can also send a text message to the entire subgroup, or you can call or text individual members of the group. To return back to the full roster, just click the Back to Full Roster button. And now you can see the entire roster. With this information, you should be able to get up and running with Minyan Maker. Be sure to check back on our support page as we will be continually adding new videos on how best to use the Minyan Maker app.